Hey,
We're back.
we're back.
This is the Fill in the Blank podcast,
Life after film school.
episode 18.
Yeah,
Vastly approaching episode 20.
I know.
You know what episode 20 means?
yeah,
There's some sort of spectacular.
yeah. Oh, yeah. There's going to be a
There's gonna be
spectacular,
like last
spectacular.
time we had a Star Wars spectacular in episode 10.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to have another spectacular.
Yeah, it'll be a spectacular, spectacular.
Yes. So we are here, and we were going to talk about Westerns
Yes.
today. That was going to be our
topic of the day. Was supposed to be Westerns, but
this thing happened like a little bit over a week ago.
Yep.
Kevin Spacey gave this speech at the Guardian Edinburgh International Television Festival.
Yeah.
That was a really good speech to start with, and it had some important things to say that I think kind of made a couple ripples in the industry.
Yeah, and it kind of touches on a topic that we had talked about before.
Yeah, he starts off kind of on that, and I
And
was
then
like,
when
he's talking about that, but then he goes into
into other areas that I was like, oh, interesting. I want to.
So we're going to kind of talk about that, I think, as our topic today.
Yeah, we'll get to Westerns. We'll do that next week.
That'll just be bumped, and we will then do a little news after that. Just a brief news session.
So you got your simple podcast today.
Yeah, it's going to be a simpler.
It's just like a steak and potatoes
discussion.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get right to it.
So, all right. So what's happening?
Oh, well, I don't know. All kinds of different things are happening, but I created a word this week.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait, before we talk about my word,
Yeah.
I wanted to say that we have reached
I know.
40 likes.
40 likes.
Yeah, and I know who the 40th like was.
Who was it?
It was our guest, Ian.
Oh. Somehow that makes it less.
I know, doesn't it?
Less exciting.
I was like, wait, you didn't already like it?
Yeah. You came on it before you had liked it?
I know. It made me sad.
That is sad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we do have to do something.
Yeah.
So next episode, we'll do something.
Yeah.
Because we don't have anything planned right now.
We'll do something especially special if we get to 50 likes.
Well, obviously, that'll be a huge celebration.
Let's see if we can get to 50 by 20.
I think if we get to 50 likes, that will probably kick off another contest.
I think so. That's what I'm saying. I would like it if we could get to 50 by 20 so that in our spectacular we have a little party about being at 50 and we kick off a new contest.
So those of you who won the last contest, Melody, because you're the only one who entered, you know
it's possible.
It's basically we give you free stuff if you enter.
Right.
So we need to get to 50 likes in order to do that, though. I think that's what I've decided.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Did you ever find out what Melody got?
No, I have not heard, Melody.
Melody.
Tell us what you got. $10.
Tell us what you helped pay for with the $10.
That's right. It's true. I was at Disneyland yesterday.
Uh-huh.
They were closing all the park. They closed Disneyland at like 7. I think they're setting up their Halloween decorations or something.
Ah, okay,
and,
yeah.
And California Adventure, once you're past the summer, that closes at 8 on a regular basis.
Right.
But they had a special thing for season pass holders, where California Adventure was open from 8 to 11 for annual pass holders. So we went to that. Here's what I had a problem with.
That had to be a joy.
I don't know what you mean by that.
People who work at Disney do.
Oh, yeah, they hated that. Oh, yeah, you could tell. And here's what I didn't like about it. Because the whole point, I think, is all the people were like, sweet, it's going to be, they'll let in probably 15, 20,000 people.
Sure.
But it'll still feel empty.
Right.
Not the case.
Nope.
Because they just shut down half of every ride. They're just like, we're only running one roller coaster. We're only running one side of Soarin'. We're only running one tower in the Tower of Terror. And I was like,
really
so I'm still waiting a half an hour for all these rides?
Right.
That's crap.
Right. No, I hear you.
It's crap.
It's because Disneyland employees don't care about annual pass holders.
I don't care. It's not the employees who made the decision of which ride to have open.
No, that's true. That is true.
But this is not what I was here to discuss. I was here to discuss the human beings that were overheard while I was here. Disneyland is not really the point of this.
Right.
What is up?
I know it's not fair, and I know you're an annual pass holder. I have been an annual pass holder before.
Yeah.
I just want to bring this up real quick. Generally speaking, at least when I worked there, the picture of an annual pass holder is a big fat person in a scooter waving a turkey leg. With the pin lanyard that is going to ask you.
Oh, the pin lanyard. Oh, yeah. I had words about the pin lanyard yesterday.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Because I just want to walk up to everyone and be like, "Hi, excuse me. Are you aware that you're wearing a lanyard covered in pins,
right.
Disney pins, right? You know that. You're wearing that.
Right. Nobody's making you do that.
You're okay with
this? Do you need help?
Yeah. No. So there's these people walking around, and I was like, oh, God, I hate all of you so much. People who use acronyms that are not necessary, I think they think they sound cool.
Okay, so I need an example.
Okay.
Are we talking like someone just saying LOL?
No,
because I don't like it when you use.
No. That's texting and stuff. Oh, when you say that
when
out
you
loud,
say it, I'm saying
that's bad. But this is worse because that's an established acronym.
Mm-hmm.
These are ones that aren't real. These are ones that no one recognizes but them and apparently their small group. Now, the one that people do recognize that I object to is DCA.
Okay, I do recognize that one.
Just call it California Adventure.
Yeah. But that's Disney speak. And that's a whole separate category. I don't believe that Disney speak should be used outside of Disney unless you're talking to another Disney person.
I heard people saying DCA, and I was like,
and annual pass holders tend to try to use as much Disney speak as they can, because they want to feel
like they work there,
or like they're a part of it.
As though it's like, oh, you're special if you get a job there. You
exactly.
can just go get a job.
You could just go get a job there.
No, the one that just bothered me was we were walking through Cars Land, and there's that Cars ride, which is what every normal person is like, hey, let's go on that Cars ride.
Cars ride, right.
Hey, okay, so we're going to hit up RSR and then go over to this and then go over to...
RSR?
I was like, oh, you can go straight to hell.
Are you kidding me?
Because it's called the Radiator Springs Racers.
Right.
That's the Cars ride.
Right.
They said
but they
RSR.
called RSR?
I just wanted to I wanted to throttle them.
I was about to use the same word.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Get out of my head.
Yeah, that's...
It's almost treasonous, is what I would call it.
Well, now, like I said, maybe that's something that the cast members there use now, and if so,
These weren't cast members, though. These were just...
I'm aware.
Quote-unquote guests, as you guys like to call them.
Uh-huh.
I call them douches.
Well, those ones are. I'm going to hit up RSR.
Oh, it's just
Yeah. Nobody should be saying that.
No, ever.
Nobody should be saying that.
No. It's the Cars ride. Let's go on the Cars ride.
Yeah.
Because they have 3 new rides in Cars Land. There's the Cars ride, there's the hovercraft, and there's the tractor ride.
Right.
Those are the rides.
Right.
That's not what any of them are called because their titles are all way too long for anyone to want to call it that.
Right. Now, on a similar note, can I express a pet peeve of mine?
Yeah.
It also refers to an attraction at Disneyland.
Oh, okay.
That people call, and I may be going the exact opposite way of you here. What I'm dealing with are people who think that it's just fine and dandy, and I'm not supposed to do anything about it when they refer to Autotopia.
Oh, yeah.
It's Autopia.
Yeah, they've added a syllable that doesn't exist.
Yeah, and what that says to me is that you don't understand why it's called what it's called.
I know.
Because the word is utopia that we've now added auto. Yeah. Autotopia.
No, that is not the opposite way. That is just a mispronunciation.
And I don't like it. And people are always like, oh, who do you think you are? I was like, I'm a person who speaks English.
I speak English and I can see that there's not an extra O.
Yeah.
It's
Autopia.
Yeah.
Utopia. Autopia.
Uh-huh.
That's what it is.
Well, they would like to spell it AUTOTO.
Yes.
And you're like,
right. No.
There's no double TO.
But... obviously, you don't understand how they arrived at that title. If you're calling it Autotopia, no, I don't like that. And
now, as a separate note, that ride is far from an Autotopia
or an Autotopia.
It's neither. It's like the slowest. You smell gas.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of like it.
I like it anyways,
but you're right.
For the
that's one of those rides that is definitely so much more exciting when you're a little kid.
I know. Before you can drive, you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah, once you get a driver's license, you're like, okay.
Okay. No, I like it for the nostalgia factor. But
me too. Yeah, me too. Because when you're a little kid and you haven't...
yeah, driven.
Yeah.
Then you're like, this is awesome.
This is awesome.
To make the car go, put your foot on the pedal.
Yeah.
It's not how you stop a real car, though.
No.
Just kids. Don't try and stop
Now, did you know that...
Don't try and stop a real car by taking your foot off the gas.
No, it'll stop...
Eventually,
kind of.
Not an automatic, though. They'll just keep rolling at like a mile an hour.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe that's not setting our kids up for success.
No, they don't have anything but one pedal.
And there's no, guide rails in the real world.
Oh, but if there were, then my car would drive itself.
and everybody would be happy.
If that was really the Autopia, you just get in it
and it would go.
And chill out, and the car would drive itself.
That's an Autopia.
That's the Autopia that I want.
Well, let's give it a few years.
It's coming. Google's trying.
I know. I saw that. For no discernible reason, but they are trying. But yes, I agree with that. You know what? I was just thinking about this, and I'm just going to throw this out there as a possibility. We don't have to make any sort of agreement on this now.
Okay.
But I think since we do cover all forms of entertainment, there might be an episode in just us talking about Disneyland for an episode.
Maybe.
Because it's like a movie set that you go and visit with people who serve you food.
And other annoying people.
Yes.
And you have to share it.
You have to share it with a bunch of other annoying people, which is kind of like Hollywood. So, I don't know.
That's got potential.
That's got potential. Either way, I created a word.
What is it?
All right, well, it's related to the word. Have you heard of the word logorrhea?
Yeah.
It means like, as it sounds.
It's like when you take a crap and nothing but logs come out really soft and fast. Right? Right?
For some people, that is an accurate description. Because what it means is having, quite frankly, diarrhea of the mouth, where you speak a lot. So I coined a word. I was looking for a way to describe how someone speaks.
Okay.
I created the word verbescence.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
And I found that there are two uses for it.
Okay.
You can use it. You can use it in the general sense, as in that person has a real
copious amounts of. Or no?
But it implies that there's not only a lot of words, but a style to them.
Okay.
Like you could say, in the most general sense, you could say Shakespeare has a real verbescence.
He has his own special verbescence.
Correct.
Okay.
He has a real verbescence. There's something special about Shakespeare.
Okay.
Now, on a more specific note, you can refer to someone's verbescence as being pretentious or rudimentary,
right?
Or there's a lot of different. It simply describes the style with which you talk, and usually refers, in my mind at least, to someone who has a lot to say.
Okay.
So, like, say, a Valley girl, who the whole time that she speaks, like,
oh, yeah.
I mean, like, her verbescence is stupid.
Oh, okay. But she does have it.
She does have it.
Okay.
Because she has a lot to say, and there's this distinct style to it.
Okay.
So I don't know what you're going to do with this word.
Now I have it.
But you have it.
Yeah. There's nowhere to go with it other than it's now been put out
to
the public. It's given.
And I think it's a valid word.
I think I don't see why that couldn't be real.
And every once in a while you'll find you'll need to use it, because you'll be talking about someone who uses words wrong, or has a real
RSR.
Sure. Right. That's why I thought it actually fit in kind of well with what you were saying. They have Autotopia.
Yeah.
So, But yeah, now you have it to describe people who take things for granted.
No. That's going way back.
That's a callback.
All right, let's do our topic of the day.
Alrighty.
Of course, as we previously discussed.
Boy, we got your topic today. Topic today to tell you.
All right.
So, topic today.
So
Kevin
we're gonna
Spacey saying stuff.
Yeah, we'll post a link to this.
Yeah.
On the Facebook
Because you should
page,
definitely go check it out.
You guys should all watch this, because we're not going to play it for you here on the pod. We're just going to talk about it. But very interesting. He starts off kind of talking about he's in the UK. Obviously, he's in Edinburgh. Edinburgh. I just did it wrong, and then I did it right.
Mm-hmm.
There's no O on it, but I know that's how you say it.
That is how you say it.
Yeah. They have their own verbescence over there.
They do. See? Aren't you glad I created that word?
I am. He was talking to a group of television people, and so it was funny because he starts off by being like, you guys do it better over here, and we had discussed that 2 episodes ago.
Right, where we had discussed the miniseries.
The miniseries, and how we like how they do it in England, where they just order the show to series for 8 episodes or how many it is.
And we had even discussed potentially that should be the future.
Yes.
And we discussed how Netflix kind of already does this a little bit.
So that was great, because I listened to this, I was like, that's what we were talking about.
Right.
But then he took it a step further, and started talking about how it's gonna, in the next 10 or 20 years, it's all gonna be the same. We're not going. In his idea or his ideal world, I think it's more what he would like to see happen, not necessarily what will happen. But
he made it sound like it really could happen.
Yeah, it's a very well delivered speech.
Yes.
Too. So it's fun to watch, anyways.
Well, the one thing before we really dive into that I really liked that he brought up was the concept, because he actually could break down numbers, which is something that you and I couldn't do.
Yes.
About how, like, last year there was something like 113 pilots shot, or
140 some pilots.
Well, this year there's 146, of which like 52 got picked up, and if it's anything like last year, only about
12,
10 or 13 will get renewed,
and then maybe only last another year.
Right. So just given those, which we were not able to provide,
we were not provided, and he said that the cost of that is $300 to $400 million.
Right. And compared to that, just ordering a single series on Netflix like that,
couple million.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes it look super cheap.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that he was able to bring some.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing that he said when he was talking about House of Cards, which if you haven't seen, I recommend going and watching. It's great.
I hear it's fantastic.
It's on Blu-ray, so if you don't have Netflix, you can get it on Blu-ray now.
Right.
But they're doing a second season of that. Was that after having pitched that show to every network and them all saying, "Oh, we're interested, but do a pilot," and him and the creators saying no. The point of this is that it's a slow, it's a in-depth, long form. Characters need to build and reveal over time. I can't just give you the nutshell of every character in the first episode, which is what you have to do in a pilot.
Right.
Because that's not what we're trying to do.
We have something we want to say, and this is what I liked about it. Once again, it harkened back to what we were saying, is that there are people out there who have a specific story to tell,
and it can only be told in a certain way.
Right.
And you just have to, and no one will. They only allow for the pilots.
Right.
You have to do it the way we do it, and so. But he was saying they shopped that around to everyone. And they all said, "Oh, that sounds great, but do a pilot."
Right.
And Netflix went, "Well, we ran numbers, and it says our audience will like this. So sure, here's 2 seasons. We'll order it right now."
Right.
And I find it interesting that they ran numbers. A company that is not Netflix just started as, we're going to let you rent movies.
Right.
So they're not a production. They're not a traditional old Hollywood company.
Right.
They don't have the executives and stuff.
The infrastructure really to be a production house. Right.
So it's interesting to me that they base their decision off of numbers versus the Hollywood people who just base it off of their own opinion.
Right. I mean, there's numbers involved there too, but it's different.
It's not numbers. It's not numbers of, hey, this show involves these things. Our audience likes these things. Let's give them the show. It's, we made a pilot because, number one, we've screened it through 15 people who've decided these are the pilots we'll make. Then we'll screen those pilots and see which one people like.
Right, and they also go off the Nielsen ratings and things like that to see, have shows like this been successful in the past, and if so, with who. And then we'll make a pilot and we'll show it to those people, but if it doesn't get this many viewers, then it's not going to stay on. So, I truly believe that a show like Freaks and Geeks, I don't know if you remember that show, would have a much... I don't know if I should say this, but I think it would have an easier time today. Yeah. Especially because it could go on a Netflix, or it could go on a
it could go on AMC, or
exactly,
where it doesn't need to get 14 million viewers a night to stay on.
And if you look at the popularity post being canceled of Freaks and Geeks, it's considered a fantastic show. Yeah. I know I love it.
I liked it when it was on.
Yeah. But it didn't pull the numbers.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of, especially in television, they do a lot of marketing towards this made-up America, quite frankly.
Yeah, it is.
That they think decides.
This demographic that doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
And the other thing is interesting.
And maybe it did before.
Yeah.
Because when there are 3 channels, the vast majority of people are watching one of 3 things.
Yes.
But nowadays, people are picking whatever they want.
Yes. And he brought up a point about piracy, where in his, and he kind of tamed it down after he started off by saying we learned the lesson the record industries didn't learn. Then he was kind of backed off and was like, well, sort of, we'll see. In that, if you provide people content that they can get how they want, when they want, and it's good content at a reasonable price, then they would rather just pay for it than go through the trouble of pirating it.
Yes,
and
that's
always going to be piracy.
There is always going to be piracy.
But Netflix is huge. This is a huge success. Arrested Development and this for Netflix.
Even iTunes is a good...
iTunes is what the record industry had to... They didn't want to do it.
I understand that.
They dragged them into that. And now... They finally
But you don't see as much Napster and other things like that.
No, not anymore. People just buy it because they're like, it's $1. I don't care.
Right.
I just want it right now.
Yeah. Exactly. And
I
think that was a good lesson for the...
Yeah, and the thing that I find interesting, because you were just talking about how, that show didn't get the numbers it needed.
Right.
Well, when you fracture into many small companies providing media and content,
you can be
you don't need the huge numbers to be profitable.
Right. You can focus on a group
that will be passionate and loyal.
Exactly.
And it's also a targeted group so that your marketing and your commercials can target.
It's a micro-marketing thing, yeah.
And because you're laser focused, you don't have to provide it for free and supplement with ads. You can charge for it.
Right, and I just want to make this point that I am not saying that we should be laser marketing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we should do that. What I'm saying is we don't have a choice because nowadays everybody picks what they want to watch whenever they want to watch it. It's not like I'm advocating this is the best way to go forward. I'm saying it's the only way to go forward.
It's the way it is.
Because that's just the way it is, like it or not. Yeah. You just don't have everybody watching the same thing anymore.
Yeah.
They have too many options, and quite frankly, nowadays people are used to being able to get exactly what they want whenever they want to get it.
Yeah.
Event television, unfortunately, or at least I feel unfortunately, I suppose there really shouldn't be a value judgment on that, but event television is kind of a thing of the past.
Yeah. It kind of is, unless it's sports.
The Super Bowl,
the big, huge championship events,
the
are the only ones where.
But even then, that's still a holdover, I think, of a lot of people choosing to watch it then.
Yes,
which we made it an event thing. But even like the Oscars, you could watch the Oscars and go talk to someone and be like, "Oh, I DVR'd them. I'll watch them this weekend. I haven't seen them yet."
That's true.
So even there, you're starting to see the fracturing of even the big events that you can't avoid because they only happen once.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, I haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, every Sunday Breaking Bad's on, which of course both of us love.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I got to shut myself into a hole because I didn't get to watch it Sunday. I'm going to watch it tonight. It's Monday. I taped it.
But, right.
So that happens because you got to do what you got to do. Whereas it used to be, it's like, no, I can't do anything Sunday night because I have to watch the show.
I have to be there for Breaking Bad.
Yeah. But that's gone now because you have the ability to save it.
I'll watch it later.
Yeah.
Or I'll go online and watch it on Tuesday.
But so then the big part of the speech that I thought was the part that was really the most interesting was when he kind of made an impassioned plead to, hey, the audience is dying for us to give them stories. It's not going to come down the street.
Okay.
It's Wednesdays that he comes down the street.
I just wanted to maybe wait a second until...
Yeah, we'll delete this.
Yeah.
The part that was the most interesting to me was when he made this impassioned plea for basically, hey, the audience is dying for us to give them stories.
Yeah, they want them.
That's all they want are stories. And the problem that we're having now is we refuse to give it to them how and when they want it.
Yes.
And how and when they want it is up to them. So it just needs to be made available to them so that they can get it when they want it through whatever means, through the internet, through the TV, through their Apple TV, via the internet, on their TV, on their phones.
Right, everywhere.
They want it when they want it and how they want it, and if we don't make it available to them, then we've missed a huge opportunity. And that's why he feels like the Netflix was correct, because they released all 15 episodes of House of Cards at once. Right. The entire season of Arrested Development.
Right.
The release date was the day every episode came out.
Right.
So you could binge watch it. You could watch one a week. You could watch them here and there for a couple weeks. I mean, it's great. It took me 3 weeks to watch the whole series of House of Cards, and I watched them here and there. And I'm watching Orange is the New Black, which is a great
I've heard that's good
Netflix series. And my girlfriend and I are watching that, and we haven't watched an episode in a week. But we'll probably watch 3 this weekend. Just is when you can do it at your leisure. I do
like that, yeah.
And you can watch one and be like, God, I want to watch another one right now. Well, let me do it.
It used to be that for a lot of like big shows like Mad Men and stuff like that, or even before that, I would actually sometimes deliberately wait until it came out on a
so you
DVD.
Could watch them all back to back to back or whatever.
Or I could watch them at my leisure because I don't know that I was able. And, someone like me, quite frankly, I'll admit a character flaw. I'm not always very good about remembering that I need to be sitting in front of the TV to watch, unless it's on in like a primetime thing from like, I don't know, 6 to 9 during the week when I'm just at home eating dinner.
Yeah.
I'm not usually very good about, and even then it's like,
you're doing something and then you're like, oh crap, it's 15 minutes after that show started.
Right.
Yeah, it's too late.
There are very few shows that I've been able to watch religiously like that. Yeah. And even the ones that I did, like say a 30 Rock.
Yeah.
Often I would be like racing home from somewhere else or
to get there for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would miss the first 5 minutes. And so knowing that, I don't have to do that. I can just watch it whenever I have the time.
Yeah.
I have to say I do like that.
Yeah. So to me, what makes it a good speech is that he makes that plea, And that what he says can mean so many things depending on who you are.
Yeah.
If you're a network exec, to you that means, okay, maybe we need to start providing our content across all platforms and all ability.
Right away, right.
And maybe it's okay if I charge everyone. I mean, iTunes charges $1 episode. They don't lose money, guys.
Yeah.
They don't lose money on their TV stuff. They make tons of money. They charge $1 an episode of a TV show.
Yep.
Hulu does it for free, but they put ads in it. Okay, that's viable too. If they're
Yep.
making the money off the ads, then that's fine. People can make the choice.
And it's still less ads than network television.
Correct. And people now have a choice. Well, I can go watch this on Hulu where I don't pay $1, but it's going to be an hour because I'm going to watch all their ads, or it'll be 40 minutes because I'll just download on iTunes as $1.
Right. Or I could pay for Hulu Plus and watch it without the ads.
Or Netflix.
Right.
For what Netflix has. Netflix is an interesting one to me because the movies that are on there are horrible, but their series are great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they
don't have any recent movies. It's all real.
Well, because there's a deal that they have.
The deal.
They have to wait 28 days or something like that from the DVD release.
No, they don't even have. Yeah, but they don't really have anything from the last.
They've been getting a little bit better about that.
They're working on it.
Yeah.
But and Amazon too is another one.
Yeah.
They have their own service like that.
Well, I can see a lot of people like that, like in Amazon, seeing what Netflix has done, going,
Well, and I know there's a lot of people like me who are just like, we are so close. I'm on the verge of not having to pay Time Warner Cable every month. I'm so close to being able to pay potentially 3 different services $5 to $10 a month, which is $70 less than I pay Time Warner in the end of the day, to be able to get all the shows I want whenever I want them.
Right.
Like day and date or any time thereafter. And we're so close. But we're not there yet.
That's one of the roadblocks that we're going to deal with.
Yeah.
That's one of the roadblocks because cable companies are going to push back hardcore.
That's what we're seeing.
And I do think that eventually what's going to happen is cable companies will become companies that are like Netflix, where they bid and control certain content. So you have to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, probably.
I'm just guessing here.
Yeah.
But I could see a day where Time Warner Cable becomes, Time Warner Entertainment.
Yeah.
And basically we bid on this show, we got this show, so if you want to watch this show, you got to pay for Time Warner. Well, if you want to watch,
and there's a lot of people who have cut the cable. I can't quite do it yet because of what I want to see. I can't quite do it.
Right.
But I just feel like we're right there. We're so close from being able to be sorry, Time Warner, I'm not paying you anymore. I'm going to pay Hulu and Netflix and somebody else at their $8 a month. And I'll be saving tons and tons of money by doing this, and I'll get all the shows I want them whenever I want.
Right. There's also a vast portion of the established entertainment industry that's going to be upset because, quite frankly, when you put all of the control in the hands of the consumer, you've now eliminated a huge faction of people who it was their job to decide what it is that people liked.
And these are the people that I hate.
Yeah, no.
These are people that we always talk about who you got the job because you were the assistant to the former person.
Well, and these are the people that are
comedy, but what do you know about being funny?
Right, and these are the people who have made the decision, not enough people like Freaks and Geeks, let's cancel it. Who cares how good it is?
Yeah.
I just don't think it's doing good enough business.
Yeah.
Well, now, and this goes back to a point that I tried to make with my father, and I don't think I was very persuasive, but Kevin Spacey was.
Yeah.
Which is that if there had been Twitter...
Yeah.
Or with the advent of both Twitter and Facebook and all these social media that are... Quite frankly, as much as I profess to hate them, they could be a tool for great democracy.
Yes.
You won't cancel shows like Freaks and Geeks
because
you just go on and go, who likes this?
Yeah.
Everybody who likes it will write in. You have instant feedback of both who likes it and how many people like it.
And he did make that point too, is that these people, if you give them what they want when they want it and it's good, they will get impassioned and do all your marketing for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how House of Cards. Netflix didn't do much. They didn't put ads on TV.
Well, just like another one.
It was all word of mouth and all internet, buzz.
And same thing with, quite frankly, I don't think they would have brought back Arrested Development if it hadn't been for just
fans being like, we want this
for years and years and years. Yeah,
and that didn't exist a while ago.
Exactly.
So you're right that.
And Fox thought,
we have a lot more power.
We're not going to make any more Arrested Development. It's not doing well enough.
Yeah, we have more power as the public now to sway the...
Right, and I guarantee you there's someone at Netflix right now who is taking a bath in solid gold water or cow's milk because he decided to bring back Arrested Development, and there's some guy at Fox who made the decision, not enough people are watching Arrested Development, let's cut it. Well, how does he feel today?
Yeah, exactly. Are you happy?
Right.
the other thing I was going to say that, so when I said his impassioned plea for content and story, everyone just wants story, let's give it to them. That could mean to the executives what we talked about. But to me, what that means is he's talking straight to me.
Yeah.
Hey, there's so many ways for everyone, including us, which is what we do with this podcast every week, is provide content over multiple platforms on the internet. It's a video format, it's an audio format, for people. Now, we're still finding our audience, which is that's fine. Right. We have time. But it made me be like, man, I want to make a show and start putting it on the internet, on YouTube. Right, because it's free for me to do. I mean, yeah, it costs me to make it, but it's free for me to get it to people.
But if I have a story to tell, it once again seems much more likely that I can now get it out there, and because I don't have to make a pilot and get that approved by people who don't know what they're talking about, and then worry about are enough people watching it.
If it's good, then the public will decide. And yes, there is a hurdle of how do I get people to look at it in the first place.
Yeah, so that's always been a hurdle.
That's always been a hurdle. I mean, that's a hurdle when you're trying to pitch something to a studio.
Well, and in this new system, it's a lot more likely for them just to take a chance and be like, hey, go ahead and do this.
Yeah.
Because we'll buy a season. If nobody watches it, nobody watches it.
Well,
we haven't.
And in this new system, you don't need the studio. You can make your own content, put it up, and if people want it, you can charge for it, or you can make ad money off of it. Right. You can do it yourself. And he's saying people just want stories. They want good stories. So to me, and I think a lot of people who are the audience of this show, that's us.
That's just telling you.
Just do it. Just go do it. You don't need. Yes, it's great if you get picked up and if you send it to the studio. I mean, don't stop doing that.
Right.
But you can just go do it yourself, because if people want it and it's good, it eventually will catch on.
Right.
So I found that to be inspiring in a certain way.
I did too. You know, the one thing that the studios have, at least currently still, over everybody else, and even I include Netflix in this as well, is that if it shows up on Netflix, it seems legitimate. It's the same way we felt the first time we saw our podcast on iTunes. Yeah. It feels more legitimate for some reason when it's on something that people...
An official thing.
Yes.
Or quote-unquote.
Versus if it's just like,
it's a random YouTube movie.
Right. People are like, I don't know what this is. They're not going to be as likely to check it out. So
correct. I think that's starting to go away, but...
It is.
You're right. That's still the majority. And the one thing I was going to say that I remembered is that... remember where the Spruce Goose used to be in that big dome down by the Queen Mary?
Yeah.
YouTube owns that.
Really?
And they've turned it into a studio. And if you have, I think it's 10,000, maybe it's just 1,000. It's a certain number of subscribers on YouTube. You can call them and go use the facility.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because they're wanting to get into the content game, and I like that they're doing it a little bit differently. They're not just going to pay Hollywood to provide content that will only air on YouTube.
No,
they're saying, hey, everyone who's on YouTube, I mean, there's YouTube celebrities. Yeah. Those people who have that many followers can just go and for free use the facility and the equipment.
See, but that makes sense for YouTube to do that, because now they're getting...
Yeah, now it's in LA, so if you're across the country, sorry, but this is where it is.
But it is. But then they are the ones who are acquiring the talent straight up. Like it's their talent at the end of once. You know what I'm saying? They're fostering an environment where they get to keep their own talent. They get to find people and nurture them. They're not taking on something from the Hollywood system.
Yeah,
you're literally pulling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The other part of Kevin Spacey's speech that I thought was an interesting thought, just philosophically, was the fact that he was saying that what constitutes TV, what constitutes a movie.
Is it no longer a movie if you're watching it on your TV? Does it have to be in the theater? Is it no longer TV if you're watching it on your phone?
Right.
And his point was no. It's just stories. It's just
content. Like I guess he made me kind of think that maybe we're moving toward a future where
the lines are all blurred.
Right, it's just content. It's not like you have...
Because he's right. When you have something like House of Cards that's 13 hours to tell its story, okay, that's how long it takes. You can't watch one of those episodes and really...
Get the whole story.
So is that no longer... Is that a movie? Is that just a 13-hour movie?
I think it is.
You can watch it all at once?
Because each episode is self-contained. You could watch it.
Yeah.
You won't get the whole story, but you watch it. And you could make the same argument that Lord of the Rings takes 13 hours to watch.
That's true, yeah.
And so, you can't get the whole story unless you watch all 13 hours of that.
So it's interesting is that, the lines are blurred more and more as far as the format.
Yes, and that both made me feel both good and bad. Just because... Like, I was like, well, at a certain point, won't that detract from going to the theater special?
Yeah, well...
just because, and it's not, I'm not saying that it won't be special anymore to go to the theater, because there is still the size of it, the grandeur of it, the experience of it, and all that stuff.
I think that
but once people get so used to, I want to watch it whenever I want to watch it, perhaps there's going to be a whole section of people, and it won't be a small one, who feel like, that's not special enough for me to go waste my time with that.
That's true. I will say, though, that better than TV, movies are a place where you can be like, I want to go watch this. Oh, it's starting in 15 minutes, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, you do have obviously not any moment you want to start watching it, it's not available, but you do have some control in the movies, and you always have. And I just think that movies, there's a magic sauce in movies that can't be explained. That's that experience, and I don't think it'll ever go away.
I hope not, yes.
And it will always be hot in the summer. And
that is
what
true.
Happens when it's hot in the summer?
No, that's true.
I'm going to go sit in that really cool movie theater.
Yes.
So,
yes. That is true.
There's a lot of
and there is a magic of it.
It's ingrained in our psyche.
What I worry will happen to theaters, movie theaters, and movies like that, big screen cinema, it'll become an experience like that of the theater. It's not like people don't go to the theater anymore.
Yeah.
It's just that people don't go to the theater like they used to.
Yeah.
It used to be that people went to the theater, Broadway, or even local theaters, regional theaters, often, because that was an experience that you could go to.
Yeah.
It was something that, you might go to a couple times a month, just like you would go to a movie a couple times a month or something,
Yeah.
But as television came in and stuff like that, you started to see the theater audiences waning, because it's like, it's kind of more expensive. I'm just gonna go. And the result of that is you don't get as much theater. People don't go to the theater as much, and when you do, it's more expensive.
Yeah.
So this does play into what George Lucas and Steven Spielberg were talking about, because I do see that as you get more content, because even nowadays there's a number of movies.
Once you fracture it so much and it's all cheap because it's per thing, you can't do these movies. So if you want to do them, you have to charge more.
Correct. Yeah. And eventually you have to up your ticket price,
and then it becomes like a Broadway show or something.
And then and then going to the movies becomes much more like a Broadway experience,
which is a shame.
Because
that was the point of movies in the first place.
Correct.
Is we were all you rich people.
Oh, I remember
the Broadway shows, but everyone can go to the movies.
Everyone can go to the movies, and now it's going to kind of. I could see. I'm not saying it will, but I could see a future where that happens, especially because you do see a number of movies nowadays that are like released in theaters on this day, also released on iTunes and Netflix,
and
on demand on the same day.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not an uncommon experience anymore.
Yeah.
For films.
Yeah.
And the more that happens, the more that people have the option to watch it on iTunes the day it comes out. Well, I could buy it for, for $9
or I could
on
go
iTunes,
pay $10 to the movies. Yeah.
And just see it once.
Yeah.
So I could see, because you can still market movie theaters as an amazing. You get the surround sound, you get the 3D, you get the all sorts of stuff, and it is definitely an experience. The spectacle, exactly,
the image quality and all that.
And you'll have certain movies that come out where they'll market it as, this is one you have to see on the big screen.
Yeah.
And I could see a future where that happens.
Yeah.
It makes me sad.
Mm-hmm. But it's possible. But maybe not.
But
it's all up in the air right now. I think that's what's interesting.
It
about
is
where
all
we're
up in
at.
the air.
These industries are all getting thrown into one giant pot, and we'll see how everything ends up coming out the other end.
Yeah. Well, for the first time in my lifetime.
Yeah.
More than I think you can honestly say at almost any previous period in the history of communications like this, of media, mass media like this, you really just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And everything's kind of swimming together, and
yeah, we've got these old companies that don't want to do what seems to be the trend, but they're also making piles of money currently.
Right.
So there's no reason for them to stop yet. They haven't seen the loss and the we need to change what we're doing to continue to make money yet. That hasn't happened. But people are making lots of money doing it the other way. So we're in this weird overlapping zone.
Right. Where I think in the next 10, 15 years, we're going to
go one way or the other, or there's going to be some sort of amalgamation. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I know that in the 50s, people were really, really afraid that TV was going to
kill movies.
It was going to kill movies.
I don't think anything can kill any of these mediums. I think they're all going to be unique in a way. I mean, you're never going to be able to.
Well, what they just didn't have before was the integration across the board. TV was still its own thing, and movies were still their own thing, and radio was still their own thing.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to a point where the lines are all blurred.
Well, and it's
everything's connected now.
There's some things that you just have to deliver by a certain medium. Like, how are you going to watch the news? Like, it's great if I can watch Breaking Bad whenever I want, but the news is on when the news is on, and it's the news for that day. I don't want to watch the news from Tuesday, Wednesday, because now I have time. I want to watch Wednesday's news on Wednesday.
That's
so, like,
true.
There's certain things that must be, and the Super Bowl. I don't want to watch the Super Bowl later.
But yes, I agree with you. You know? But with the news, you could have news bundles.
You could have the news.
We could go backwards.
You could have the news simultaneously streaming, which is
on your screen while you're watching something else.
On the computer, you could have it streamed. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's still got to be live.
You could also do news bundles. Like, if you think about it,
like a newsreel.
Yeah, we're kind of going backwards.
I don't think that'll happen because you've got the internet, which is news instantaneously.
That's what I'm saying. It's more likely that you'll be watching the news while you're watching something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll just have news alerts come up. Hey, this happened. And you're like, okay, I don't care.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't even want to think about that. That makes me sad because as soon as you don't have to pay attention to the news, people won't.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's. I don't know. There's a lot. We could go on. There's a lot to talk about there. So I recommend everyone go watch that. Right. Again, the link will be up. You'll see the link.
And feel free to send us your comments on Facebook.
Yeah. We'll talk about this again if you guys want us to.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to me. But let's quickly go through some news. The week of September 9th, 2013.
This is the news.
All right.
So, side note, I just really like that.
You like the news one?
I do.
Okay, so some quick news stories. They're developing a Spanish language TV version for like a TV series of El Mariachi.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Robert Rodriguez, I think I read, was not happy about this.
Oh, wow. Okay. I thought maybe he'd be involved, but he.
No, I think whoever he sold that movie to owns it, and they're like, we're gonna make that a TV show. And I was like, I want that, and they're like, it's Spanish language. And I was like, I kind of still want that. Yeah. I would watch that. I'm sorry. If it was,
I think I would too.
I think like when it airs, if it's on Telemundo or whatever, I will check that out.
I think I will too, and. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't see why that couldn't be a hit in America, too.
I know. That could be.
Yeah, I think people would go for that.
I was kind of for it. I know some people weren't.
If I were, I understand why he wouldn't be if he's not in control of it.
Yes.
Then I understand that.
Yeah. They came out with the title for Pirates 5.
Okay, I also heard they came out with the title for Transformers as well.
Oh, okay. What was that?
I don't remember.
Okay. I think I read that there was 2 options, but I didn't know that they had picked one.
Yeah, it's like Age of Destruction.
Yeah,
something
about
like that.
Apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Apocageddon or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, Pirates 5 is Dead Men Tell No Tales, and I was like, shouldn't that have been the first one?
That seems like the obvious choice.
That should have been Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Like, that should have been the first pirate movie they made.
All right, that's fine, though.
So that's fine. I'm like, good. It's not something weird.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Chris Carter is back.
Okay, what's he got?
The creator of the X-Files is back. He's developing a show for Amazon and a show for AMC.
Oh.
The AMC show sounds like this is the one for you X-Files fans.
Okay.
Both of them I'm sure are interesting.
So Amazon is going into the content business, just
yes.
I figured they would.
But I think the Amazon one is actually the one that'll see the light of day before AMC.
Okay.
They just kind of made that deal. But I was like, oh, he's back.
Yeah.
And I guess I assume maybe he's been gone working on some stuff, and he's got some good stuff here. So that is that. All right, and then finally.
Wait, what other?
Oh, we don't know. They didn't really tell us.
Oh, okay.
They just said he's doing it.
Oh, I thought you had something.
No, that the AMC one is has a sci-fi element.
Oh, okay.
But I think most of his stuff does.
Yeah.
This is definitely a quick news. The final piece, we'll just talk about Star Wars a little bit like we always do in the news.
Okay.
There was some big internet hubbub, but I felt like they were trying to make a bigger deal out of it than it was.
Okay.
That's
typical, though.
Episode 7 is going to be shot on 5219 Kodak film instead of digitally.
All right.
I was like, so? And they were like, oh, but episode 1 was the first feature film shot, or episode 2 was the first feature film shot digitally.
So wait, are they trying to make me feel like I shouldn't want it shot on film?
Yes, they're trying to make you feel like, I think people put the news out thinking that Star Wars fans on the internet are going to get mad because it wasn't shot digitally, and Star Wars has been, the episode 2 and 3 pioneered digital. There was no digital, all digital film before episode 2.
Yeah, well, they're preaching.
So George Lucas is a big pioneer of that, but I'm like, he
they're
is.
preaching to the wrong people. If you want me to be upset, that
I just don't care. Like if
I don't care either way.
He's shooting it digital, I'd have been like, okay.
I don't care either way either.
Yeah.
But I will also like if they said, "Are you shooting it on the newest Red camera or something?"
Like,
I'd be like, "Okay, fine."
Yeah.
But when you tell me, "Oh, J.J. Abrams has made the choice to shoot it on film," I go, "And that's why I like that J.J. Abrams is doing this."
See, I don't really care. Like
I don't. Ultimately, I don't care. But there is a small part of it that's like, yeah, go ahead, shoot it on film.
And plus, if George Lucas isn't helming Star Wars, say what you want about his movies, then I don't expect it to be a technologically groundbreaking film. I just want it to be good.
Yeah.
If he's helming it, then I want it to be good.
Because that's really what he's about.
That's his thing.
Yeah.
And that's not J.J. Abrams' thing, and that's fine. I just want a good story. If you somehow break ground, you probably won't really. You'll improve stuff. ILM always does. Yeah. But it won't be like no one's ever seen this. It's Jar Jar Binks. No one's ever seen this. We shot it all digitally. No one's ever done that. Right. You're not going to have that. And typically
I'm not taking that off the table.
No.
Just because it does have a history of that, and J.J. Abrams knows it has a history of that.
Yes.
But I think this is just a small little theory for you here. He might be throwing Kodak a bone.
Because they're dying?
Well, because they just finally came out of bankruptcy.
No, that's true.
And they've restructured, they're streamlined, they're slimmer, and they don't do commercial film anymore. It's just industry stuff. Yeah. So he could be throwing them a small bone here, being a person who I think appreciates film.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then I'm for that too.
And I was just, it was more of a, because to me that was more of a story that they tried to make the internet get mad about this or have a reaction to this, and no one really did, because I don't think anyone cares. Like, just tell me what it's going to be, who's going to be in it, what it's going to be about. Yeah. And Kathleen Kennedy did, because they asked her, because everyone asks everyone everything once they think they have a story.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, we're trying to make it look like the old movies. I was like, good.
No, good.
The other piece of Star Wars news that has me kind of bothered is there's now rumors that it'll be released in December of 2015, because as we had previously discussed, in the apocalyptic year of 2015, there's too many Disney movies. There's too many movies.
Right.
Especially too many blockbuster Disney movies with Pirates and the Avengers and Star Wars.
Right.
And so it hasn't been confirmed, but they were talking about, well, maybe we'll have Star Wars come out in December 2015. I find that offensive.
Well, just because of the history, and I would, because it is such a classic series, throw a nod to it. So throw Pirates in September.
Put Pirates in the fall.
Yeah, and then put Avengers in July.
Yeah, put Avengers in the Dark Knight spot.
Right.
Put Star Wars in the Star Wars spot.
Right.
There is a Star Wars spot.
That's what it's called.
And then move Pirates, because Pirates ain't gonna bring in the money that it used to.
Well, what you got to avoid what you have to avoid with Pirates is falling into a Lone Ranger situation.
Yeah.
And if you move it to a place where there's not as much going on, you'll make a lot of money with Pirates. If you put it when everything else is going on, other things will take its money. That's one of those that can't stand against an Avengers a Star Wars.
Not anymore.
No. I'm still going to go see it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fun. I've liked all of them. But,
yeah.
So I was like, don't do that to Star Wars. Star Wars deserves to come out in
Pirates
May.
of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. After that comes Pirates of the Caribbean, Methinks He Knows Too Much. Then Pirates of the Caribbean, He's Seen the Cursed Treasure. And then, of course, the final one, which is Pirates of the Caribbean, I be willing to share, I be. These are all lines from the ride, Pirates of the Caribbean.
I be willing to share. I don't remember that.
Well, it used to be that in the ride, you see the guys chasing the ladies.
Yeah.
And the guy used to be saying how he'd like to hoist his sails upon that wench.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, if you can help me catch her, I be willing to share, I be. That's actually what he was saying.
Okay.
Now they've changed it to he's holding a treasure map.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you help me find the treasure, I be willing to share.
I thought you were going to be like Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. Show him your larboard side.
Right. Right. Pirates of the Caribbean, give us the redhead. Or my personal favorite, Pirates of the Caribbean, whoop. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's it for today.
Yeah, that's really all we've got, but that's okay.
That's the way it is.
There was. You've been doing it.
Yep.
So remember, of course, Facebook.com/FITB Podcast.
Yep. Or YouTube.
YouTube.com/FITB Films. let's get to 50 likes. We can have another contest.
Yeah.
You can win some free stuff.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, all the podcasts always available on fillintheblankfilms.com and YouTube.
Of course.
Everything else on iTunes. Subscribe there. Leave your reviews.
Like us on Facebook.
Like us there, please. Tell your friends. That's the most important thing is you tell your friends. And the Twitters, I'm at GPL Films. And
I'm at AustinJD14.
And we'll see you next time.
Have a good week.